Dr. Abigail Chi, a nurse by profession and currently practicing as a public health consultant. I'm on Radiant Parenting. This is a beautiful program that is working out to impact generations. And I encourage you to watch it and learn lessons out of it for parenting, which will be helpful for this generation and generations to come. Please like, share, and spread the news out to your friends and relations so that they will always be watching to be getting the tidbits that are necessary for essential parenting. Let's make parenting radiant to the glory of God.
Hello everyone, my name is Nancy SWATSON. I am encouraging all of us to watch Radiant Parenting on YouTube and then our social media handles. Parenting is a very tough job. You cannot do it alone. There are a lot of parents who come on the program and share great experiences that you can learn from. Please don't stay in that corner and struggle when there's a lot of opportunities for you to learn. Thank you very much and God bless you.
Hello, this is Radiant Parenting. We are happy to come your way again with a great edition of our program dubbed My Parenting Journey. Parenting is a journey, do you know that? How has your journey been so far? Has it been difficult? Has it been challenging? Has it been overwhelming? Sometimes you do not even know what to do. We put this program together because of you, because we know that it doesn't come easy. And others have been through that journey before successfully. What you can do is to learn from them. That's why we are inviting you to stay tuned to this great edition of our program. Before we continue, we'll go on a quick commercial break, after which I'll introduce to you our guest. Thank you.
I would say that parenting is not an event. Sometimes people say spend quality time or quantity time. Parenting is a process and you always have to be there. You have to make time and you also have to be there all the time, because sometimes our children need somebody to talk to, they need somebody to encourage them, they're having a challenging time. You need to be there. Remember, we are stewards. God made us stewards. And I always say we are bringing up somebody's wife, we are bringing up somebody's husband, we are also bringing us a responsible adult for the nation. So you are bringing up a CEO, you are bringing up a politician, an organizational head. Have all that in mind, and together with your husband, bring the children up so that one day somebody will bless you as having done a very good job. And one day God will tell you, good and faithful servant, you took very good care of my property, what I entrusted in your hands. Bear that in mind so that nobody will curse you one day and say that, look at this job you did, it's not good at all. And pray. You need to pray. Like everything depends on prayer. Rise up at dawn, mommy, and pray for your children. I wake up 2 a.m. I am always laying hands on my children and speaking forth what I want to see happen to them. I do that every time. Sometimes they see, sometimes they don't see. If your husband is not doing it, it's okay, mother, do it. And one day, you will thank God for what you did. God bless us all. Amen.
Hello, welcome from the commercial break. As I said earlier, we have a great woman of God in the studio today. She is going to take us through her experience so far as a parent. She's been the mother of 4 beautiful and adorable, intelligent and smart children. Who is this person? I'm sure you are eager to know. She is the founder and proprietress of Teaching Aid, a great school, a Pearson EdExcel school in Accra at Ashalibutwe. You may be wondering what is Pearson EdExcel. It's a British curriculum. So you can see she's doing some amazing stuff there. So who do we have? She is in the person of Mrs. Nancy SWATSON. Nancy, you are most welcome to Radiant Parenting.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
How has your day been?
It's been great.
It's been great.
It's been good.
Cool. Tell us, who is Nancy? Who are your parents? How was your upbringing like?
My name is Nancy SWATSON, like you mentioned, and my mom is Dora Yeboah. My father was Emmanuel SWATSON because he's late.
Okay.
But I did not grow up with my father. I grew up with my mom, and then my aunt supported. So I grew up with a single parent.
Okay.
Yes. And my mother has been a strong pillar for me as I was growing up. And most of the things I've learned as a mother, I took from my mother. Yes.
Wow. Good. Very interesting stuff. So what was your father's career? And then, if you indulge me, what led to your mother being a single parent? What happened? Was there? And how was that? How did that affect you?
Interestingly, I think when I grew up to be conscious of my home, my father was not around.
He was not around.
So I honestly do not know much about their relationship.
Okay.
And my dad also died early. So when I saw him, I think I saw him when I was maybe late teens.
Okay.
And then he passed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, fine. So your mother, is she still alive?
Yes, my mom is alive.
Tell us about her. What does she do?
So currently, my mom lives with me.
Okay.
Because I've never had a house help. So when I when I had my first child, my mother offered to come and help because I wasn't ready for a baby, and I'm an only child.
Okay.
So I never had siblings to sort of learn how to even handle younger ones. So my mother was very instrumental.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. So your mother has been your support.
Yes.
Been the household, supporting the grandmother and all.
Yes.
Okay. So has the absence of your father affected you in any way? Would you say?
I would say yes and no. Yes, because every growing child will want their real father to be around. No, because I had other male figures who were there, like my grandfather.
Okay.
And then my uncle. I think in my growing up journey, I lived with my uncle and an aunt.
Okay.
And then there was a friend whose father actually made me want to marry. Because I think because of what I saw with my mom, I didn't grow up being enthusiastic about marriage, but I used to spend a lot of time with this friend, and I saw how loving the man was.
Wow.
One very stable man with Christian virtues, and I saw their home, and I felt that, oh wow,
you want something
I
like
want
that?
something like that for myself. So yes, he was Mr. Utabel. So though my father wasn't around, I had a lot of male figures who were very supportive.
So you didn't feel his absence so much?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. So where did you grow up?
So I think I grew in Cape Coast.
Okay.
And I went to primary school and university primary.
Okay.
Then I went to Wesley Girls High School in Cape Coast. And then I went to UCC.
Oh, so you're Cape Coast?
Yes, mainly. I speak very good Fanti.
Hey, what then?
So I think when I was in Form 2, that is SHS2 now, then SSS2, we moved to Accra. So I spent the rest of my growing years here in Accra. Yes.
In Accra. Cool. So you were a lone child too, so you didn't have anybody to play with. How did that also affect you?
Well,
did it make you feel lonely sometimes? Because when your friends come to school, they'll be talking about their brothers, their sisters, and all that. Did that make you feel lonely?
Sometimes. And then I think my cousins were around too. My grandfather is an Achim. And Achims have this culture of calling cousins even siblings.
Okay.
So I had my cousins around. So I think it wasn't so lonely. It got lonely when we're picking on each other and they would say, "This is my brother, then there was nobody to go to." So then, yes, but aside that, I think it was okay.
It was okay.
Yeah.
It was manageable.
It was.
Good. So would you say the way you've been raised has affected you and your style as a parent?
I think it has. I would say that my mother raised me with a lot of love.
Okay.
And I had a lot of, should I say, trust and confidence around my mother. My mother was not the kind of mother who would threaten, shout, especially when I was a teenager and the boy issue came up. My mom would listen and not judge. So I think it gave me a lot of, how do I put it? Like I was close to my mother. Okay. And it's affected the way I raise my daughters. I have 4 girls. I don't have boys.
Wow.
Yes, so yeah.
Would you try to have a boy?
No.
I had 4 girls.
Oh, okay.
And tried, and God bless me with a handsome boy.
Oh, wow, nice.
So maybe you could give it a try.
No.
You're done.
I'm done. I'm so tired.
You're tired?
I am very tired.
Okay, so you were telling us that your mother instilled that trust in you, so that has somehow affected the way you're raising your 4 girls. So you said your mother showered a lot of love on you. How did she do that? Is it that she bought you lots of goods? And she bought you toys, she spent time. Can you throw more light on that?
I think it was more of quality time. And my mother was a very honest person, such that she wouldn't lie to me about what she had and what she didn't have. Growing up, there were times that things were very tough. My mother would tell me that, "Mami, nyibi, as in, Mami, we don't have much. This is what we have." And if she could afford, she would give me. And so it made me know my real state, and she would encourage. So I knew that, okay, at this point in my life, this is where we are. Okay. And if I tried harder, I could get what I wanted. So mine was not so much of giving so much gift. It was a good guide, and then being a friend to me, and being loving. Not as in showering me with gifts, but showering me with a lot of love, direction, and being honest with me.
Okay. So it's not always the gift.
No.
So no matter your level, you can still show love to your children.
Exactly.
You may not necessarily have to travel with them to Dubai, to the US, take them to Accra Mall and buy them all the goodies there. If you're able to do that, why not? It's good. But if you are not able to do that, you can still go out of your way and show love to your child. I think that's what you are telling us. So, before you gave birth to your 4 girls, did you think that you were going in that direction? Did you have that in mind? Did you envisage that, you and your husband?
No.
So how many children were you thinking about giving birth to?
I think because I was an only child, initially I was toying with the idea of having many.
So how many?
Like 7. But when I got married, my husband was in school when I got married. Okay. So we were thinking about waiting a bit before we had children. Okay. Unfortunately, I think I got pregnant very quickly. And so when I had my first child, I realized that no, I can't have 7. I just wanted 2.
You revised your notes?
I revised my notes quickly. So I wanted 2. Then my mother wasn't around. So it was just me and my husband and the baby. And I realized there was a lot of work. I mean, handling a human being is not handling a toy. No. So it was so difficult. So I decided that 2 was fine.
2 was fine.
Yes, please.
Okay, then what happened?
I think when we go for counseling, for some of us who weren't, I think I grew up pretty sheltered. So I didn't know a lot of things. So when I was even lactating, usually with women, when you're lactating, sometimes you have some safe period. Before I knew it, so when I was pregnant again, so when my first was 9 months, almost 10, getting to 11, I was pregnant with the second.
Wow, back to back.
And then when the second was about the same age, I was pregnant with the third.
And you were not joking.
And then I think with the fourth, we had decided that we're not going to have any child again, taking protection. But she decided to come. So we had her. Yes.
Wow, she's meant to be here.
Yes.
Okay. So now with your 4 girls, how are you able to pass your faith on to those girls? Because the times that we are in, it's very turbulent. So how have you been able to do that? And then how involved have you been in their education and all that? Can you tell us?
So when I had the first, I realized that my job was very engaging.
Where were you working then?
I was working at Legon, University of Ghana.
Okay.
So I was working on a project with Afinet.
Okay.
So running management programs for health officials. And when I had her, I didn't even have the luxury of having a maternity leave. So that's when I asked my mom to come in. So when she turned 1, I stopped working. So I became a stay-home mom.
You stopped working?
Yes.
Wow, that was a bold one.
Yes. Then I think that I wanted to be a super mom. It came with a lot of challenges. Challenges that now I thank God I made that decision. So the second came. The second was pretty challenged. Her milestones were a bit late. So I actually home tutored her. And the third.
Okay.
And so eventually I was home tutoring the 3.
Wow.
And then I decided that, okay, because the second was a bit challenged, her social skills were challenged as well. So we decided to open it up, and that's how the school started. Okay. So I have been with the girls almost all my life. My adult life, yes.
Wow. So you had to homeschool the 3 of them?
At a point.
At a point?
Yes.
How did you do that? Did you have the expertise? Well, how did you know what you have to teach them? Give us an idea about your routine in home schooling them.
I think I had worked on curriculum development when I was working at Legon. So what I did was that in my mind, I knew what they had to know at a certain level. Okay. And then it gave me the opportunity. We are talking about faith. And so I would add Bible time.
Oh, so you had Bible time?
Yes, virtues that I wanted to pass on. Okay. And then for each age, I would be guided by milestones and curricula from around. Okay. And then pick what I wanted my girls to know. So I planned curriculum for all 3.
Hey.
And
tough superwoman.
I think I was trying to be ambitious. But what helped me was that I think I had an idea that education wasn't so much about passing on knowledge, but getting people to be skillful at things. So maybe we are going to the market together, and if I wanted them to learn math, I'll let them count the trees.
Count the trees.
Exactly. And then when we come over, I say, how many trees did you find? Maybe 3. And then they write it down. Okay. When we are in the kitchen cooking, maybe we are measuring. So if I have to see the first one how to measure, we are measuring in the kitchen. Sometimes when we are bathing, we are pouring the water. So I try to find ways of making it less stressful, because home tutoring or homeschooling is so stressful. It is stressful.
Oh, but I'm interested. So you use the day-to-day activities to teach the children the things that they would have learned in school?
Exactly.
Like pouring water, maybe counting oranges, tomatoes, and all that.
Yes, please.
So you were intentional about that?
Very intentional.
But I said it's challenging the home schooling. So would you encourage parents to go in that direction?
It depends. I mean, a child should be a holistic individual. You need friends, you need your social skills. So if the parents know how to make that available to the children, why not? One thing that I'll tell any homeschool parent is that sometimes you have your strengths. I was an English teacher, and so probably my strength is not in math. So I make sure that the ones that I wasn't good at, I am finding ways of augmenting. So those were the challenges. I had to double learn things that probably I didn't know. And then to your own children. So sometimes you got emotional when they're not getting the things that you want to pass on. And then sometimes you get frustrated and you may be too hard on them. So these were some of the challenges that I think I faced.
That's great. And I think sometimes they will not take you seriously because it's like we see you around, we are doing everything with you, then you want to come and teach us again. You didn't have that challenge?
No. I think they had seen me from the beginning as a mother and a teacher.
Okay.
So I think it's also helped me now. My children always see me as their teacher. So when I teach them things, they take me seriously.
Okay. So back to faith. How did you intentionally pass on your faith to them? How old is the oldest?
My oldest is 14.
14.
Yes, please.
Good. How did you pass on your faith to her and the rest? How did you do that?
Initially, I would probably search for devotionals for children to sort of guide me on what to do. I mean, it's been a whole lot. Then I realized that she would not pay attention much. So when you did a lot of the talking things, then she's not listening half of the time. So I would look for apps that would teach stories on faith. So for instance, if I had to teach her about probably lying, I would let her watch something short. There was one app I subscribed to. I don't really remember the name, but it had 5 minutes because of screen time issues. It had only 5 minutes video on a particular subject. So I'll let her watch it, and then after that, just before bed, we would lie down and we'll discuss. So I do bedtime stories with faith-based materials, just to try and pass it on. And then in everything that we did, I'd let them see our faith through it. So if she lied, I'll say that, you remember what happened to maybe this Ananias and Sapphira? And then initially it was all the fear thing, because I was a stay-home mom. My husband was a banker, so most of the times I was alone. So initially it was to get Jesus to be the one who is checking everything I'm doing. And then later I realized that, okay, they shouldn't be afraid. They should love Jesus and all of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Well, he's love.
Exactly.
He's love, love.
Exactly.
So sometimes parents, we miss it when we put so much fear in them.
Exactly.
And when we do that, when they grow up, sometimes they really reject the faith.
Exactly.
Because the love, Jesus is all about love.
Exactly.
Fantastic. So I heard you say, or I've heard a story that your daughter did something interesting. She used your nightie to sew a dress for one
her
of
little sister.
That amazes me. How did she do that? Did you teach her how to sew?
In fact, I do not even know how to sew. My mother sews, and my daughter is very talented. I think what I did at home was that I gave them things that they were good at. So I made it available. She could paint. So most of the times when we're having activities, I'll give her paint. She loves to cut. So I'll give her fabric, maybe my old clothes, then she'll cut it. And then I would give her lots of books. She writes. So she even authored a book.
She's authored a book.
Yes,
we'll get to that.
So whatever I saw that they loved to do, I'd make it available so that they don't get fixated on screen. Yes.
Oh, so you were very intentional.
I was
You were
very intentional.
observant.
Yes, please.
So you could identify what they are good at and give them the opportunity to blossom in that field. Okay. You said she's authored a book.
Yes, please.
What's the title of the book?
Something Lovely.
Something Lovely.
Yes.
Where is it? How can we get copies?
So it's actually a Kindle copy on Amazon. So when you go on Kindle, you can get the copy.
She's the 14-year-old.
Yes, please.
Wow. So she can sew at 14. She's authored a book 14. Then only God knows what she'll do when she gets to her age.
We praise.
Wow, that's interesting. And having 4 girls, how do you manage their uniqueness? I think you've addressed that a bit, but a bit more. How do you, because their temperaments are different. Some are quiet, some are outspoken. How did you manage all that?
In fact, parenting is a very interesting journey, and you will never be ready for it. So I did a lot of observation. One thing I noticed was that my third was, I used to call her the missing daughter, because all of them would be speaking and she's very quiet. And I used to get very worried about it, but I realized that her love language was touch. So even if she came to you and you just rubbed her back, she would be fine. So I decided to observe, spend time. Sometimes we'll go out and then I am spending more time with maybe daughter 1 to sort of get to know her better. When I started doing the school at Winneba, there was a time that I took each one of them for every trip. It was to give me the opportunity to know them alone. And then I also would talk to my mom, because she spends time with them, that when I'm saying, then she'll tell me that, oh, as for this one, she likes this, she likes that. So I always say I have 4 nations in my home. They're all very different. And so I deal with them according to their differences.
So you deal with them according to their differences. So in this time and age, mothers, fathers are busy. You hardly get mothers like who could lay down their jobs to stay with their children. So what would you tell them? How would you advise such parents?
I think that parenting is like sowing a seed, and whatever you plant is what you reap.
It's like sowing
a seed. And so whatever you want to reap is what you sow.
Good.
I know that it's very challenging now because school fees is crazy. All of us have to go out there and work. But I want to tell parents to try and schedule their children. And what I do is that my children are around me all the time, but because I work in a school, sometimes just around me, I'm not spending time with them. So I make sure that sometimes I do a schedule that when I get home, 5 minutes, I'll talk to Enyonyam about this. 10 minutes, we'll do homework with it. So I schedule them like I'll schedule my work.
Wow, that's interesting.
So that I would do it.
Schedule them like you will schedule your work. So you are intentional, you document it, you write it. So you don't leave things to chance. I think that's one thing I'm learning from you. You don't, and it's a seed you are sowing. So if you do not invest into your job as a parent, if you overspend your time on your career and you don't pay attention to the children, one day you are going to reap the fruit thereof. Is that not it?
Exactly.
Wow, it's tough.
And I even want to add something, because I work in a school, there was a dynamic I observed. That sometimes you will see a parent who is all put together, a Christian parent, and then the child is totally opposite. And sometimes when you call the parents, they would go like, I don't even know how my child became this way. But I realized that you are not raising your child, so you are not putting yourself in your child. There's a house help at home who is raising that child. So certainly it's the house help they are reflecting. And these gave me opportunities to learn that whatever I wanted for my children, I needed people like that to model it for them to see.
Exactly. That's very insightful. So the house help becomes a model that the children are copying instead of you, the mother or the father. That's very insightful. And I think that's what is happening in our time nowadays. It's to the extent that children don't do anything at home. Everything is about the house helps. And then we are getting the kind of results that we are getting. Wow. So how did you manage sibling rivalry too? 4 girls?
Tell me about it.
And Enyonyam has done this. And this one has done that. Or you don't have that in your home?
I do a lot. In fact, there are times that I get so worried and they'll tell me, Mommy, but it's the fighting that makes it nice. It's because you didn't have siblings. So
it's the
fighting that makes it nice. That makes the whole relationship nice. So what I do is that I am very conscious of how I bond with each one of them. Sometimes they come to me and ask, Mommy, who is your favorite? And I say, nobody is my favorite. You are all naughty sometimes. So as much as possible, I try not to make anyone one feel left out. So if I know that this one loves gift, in fact, there was a time that when we're buying things, my husband and I will buy the same color, the same thing.
Okay.
Because we didn't want a situation whereby this one would feel you give this one the red one, and so we've been very intentional about giving them love that they all understand, so they don't feel left out.
Okay. So intentionality.
Exactly.
So how do you settle petty squabbles? This one has pinched me, this one has done that. How do you two manage all that?
Initially, I will scold. In fact, the little ones have a way of getting you to scold the older ones.
Yes.
So when he hears crying, the one who is crying
The loudest.
is usually the one who gets favored. So I allow them to speak. There are times that they come and report things to me and I said, go and settle it amongst yourself. You are siblings. What's happening? Go and settle it. There are times that I'll sit and listen to everybody and then make one of them a judge. I have a number of them. So if two people are fighting, two others are listening and then passing judgment, so that it won't be like mommy is taking sides. So we all decide that, no, yeah, they want and then we all decide together. Yes, sometimes that's what I do.
I think that will help them too in their decision making and all that, to become more expressive. Fantastic. So your girls, do they do house chores?
They are my house helps. Yes, they do.
They do house chores?
They do.
Wow, what do they do?
So they wash. In fact, I don't remember the last time someone washed for us. I have had a very bad experience with the house help. I think when I was pregnant with the second one, the person was a leave out. So I was very paranoid. And my mother, I think growing up, I didn't see house helps. I tried for the first time and it didn't work for me. So my mom and I do house chores. So I think the girls grew up seeing us doing house chores. In fact, my husband does it too. So Saturday mornings, we call something work and happiness. So we get up in the morning, you're cleaning your room, I'm cleaning mine. So we do our house chores together. So my girls don't see it as punishment. Now that they are growing up, sometimes I give a project. I'll say that, okay, the one who cleans the visitor's washroom gets a stipend of 20 cedis. And then now that they are older, I do that. But initially, no. They clean their own spaces. Yes. Wow. Because I do too.
That is great.
Yeah.
That is great. Hello. I hope you are enjoying this conversation with Mrs. Nancy SWATSON. It's been so enlightening, so educative, so much to learn from. And one thing she said that touched me is that parenting is like a seed. What kind of seed are you sowing as a parent? Are you just concerned about your career? You are sowing the seed that will make you flourish in your career, in your business, and all other endeavors. How about the kind of children that God has given to you? Are you intentional about it? What kind of seed are you sowing? We'll go on a quick commercial break. Then we'll join you soon. Stay tuned and we'll be back soon. Thank you.
Hello, this is Mina Lasse. I want to recommend Radiant Parenting to you. It is a very beautiful channel that talks to you about parenting. Are you struggling in your parenting journey? Do you want to do parenting on purpose? Then I recommend this channel to you. It's such an insightful piece of parenting, how you want to go about your parenting journey, how you want to, adopt different parenting styles. We have different people sharing their opinion. I recommend this to you. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our Facebook page. You would never regret doing that. God bless you. Bye.
Hello, welcome back from the commercial break. Mrs. SWATSON, your name is interesting. I hope I'm pronouncing it well.
Yes, my name is SWATSON, but I'm Miss SWATSON. I'm not using my husband's name.
Sir? Okay, so when will you start using his name? He will see you. Miss SWATSON. Good. So how do you manage screen time? You have teenagers, and then we are in times that everything is digital. How do you manage that?
In fact, when they were younger, we never had a TV at home. Yes.
You never had a TV at home when you were
I
younger?
still don't have a TV at home.
You still don't have a TV?
No.
Why?
I think because I was a teacher, I knew the effect of screen time. And my first daughter had attention span issues. So I knew that too much screen wasn't good for her. So we decided not to have a TV at home. But obviously, because of technology and the kind of work they do, you would have to give them some screen. So they have gadgets they use, like the laptop or tablets. So sometimes they go online or onto a laptop. Children are very interesting now.
Very.
We have screen time at home, probably an hour. And then you go off it to do other things. What I noticed was that when there was no screen, you become amusement for children. I don't know if you've observed. When we were younger, there's a lot of outdoor activities you could do.
Exactly.
But children are now caged in the house. So somebody would, in fact, my last one wrote a song that she's bored. She said, Mommy, I'm bored. And she said, nothing to do. And she doesn't have anything to do. So what I tried to do was to have a schedule for them before they wake up. I think I'm a schedule person. So before they wake up, we have things we're going to do together so that it keeps them occupied and then keeps the screen away. Now that they are growing, it's a bit difficult, especially for the first one, because she has a lot of activities online. So what I do is that when we come back from school, I give her time to do her homework, and then I take the laptop from her.
So you give her time after the homework, you take the laptop
yes, we
from
take
her.
the laptop from her.
Okay. So doesn't she have any free screen time on her own that she can just have fun?
Oh, she does. In fact, Friday nights, we call it movie nights.
Okay.
So Friday nights, they have their own movie time. So they download a movie, we look at it, and then they'll spend time in their room watching it. One thing that I bless Jesus for is that when they were growing up, we talked to them about some of the things you may chance on when you're watching movies. So they'll tell me that, Mommy, this movie is contraband. That means there's something in it that they're not supposed to watch. So they'll take it away. I'm struggling a bit now because my second seems to like a lot of screen. So what I do is that over time, she'll tell me that she's doing homework, but probably she's there to do something else. So we keep on talking about it. And when I catch you, you lose your ability to use a screen for some time. So that's what I do. She's more difficult to handle than the rest of
Children are so smart. They are so smart and they seem to love the screen so much. But I'm really amazed that you do not have TV in the house.
No.
That's interesting. Some have it in the room, in the kitchen, in the bedrooms, in the living room, everywhere, and it's on all day. Wow.
I think I'm sorry to cut you, but when I was growing up, my uncle was a professor, and he would tell you that TV is a time waster. That's what he would say all the time. So he had a library in the house, and he would make me go and read in the library. So I grew up loving to read rather to watch.
This has influenced you a lot, and you pass it on to your children.
I'm trying to.
That's interesting. So how do you have fun as a family? How do you spend time together?
In fact, I always believe in taking advantage of the moment. There's a friend who always tells me that you may not have time, but any little time that you have, make it fun. So sometimes on our way from school, we decide to go somewhere else, sit and have a meal and chat. There are times that a few times we've taken them outside Accra for them to have fun, probably in Cape Coast or elsewhere. There are times that we plan outings, probably their birthdays. So we plan outings, probably celebrations after an achievement. Mostly in the house, we have a lot of fun. We have a whole battalion at home. So most of the time, we try to have fun at home, have dancing competitions at home. My girls sing.
Wow.
So sometimes we sing.
So who is the best dancer? You?
No. I think it's the third in Nyonyam. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, Miss Watson, from hindsight, are there things you wish you had done differently?
In fact, when I was going through the interview questions, like I was going through what I was going to talk about, I was thinking about that what would I change? Then today when we were going to school, I told my first one that she'll be going to boarding house. And then she said, no, Mommy, I don't want to go to boarding house. I said, why? She said, no, I want to be with you all the time. And I was thinking, have I failed this girl? Because I'm always with them. In fact, I am always with my daughters. And so I'm thinking that probably I should have given them an opportunity to be alone. Because eventually they will go.
They will go.
So probably I give them more opportunities at being with other people at other times. Probably.
I don't think you failed.
Okay.
With us, they are going up, a bit of balance we need.
Exactly.
But you've done well. You've done well. You've done well. So, what would you tell parents of today? What's your last word? What do you think they should do to get the next generation properly parented?
Okay. I would tell them to pray a lot. There's no manual for parenting. Everything I'm saying is not prescriptive. So depend more on the Holy Spirit.
Right.
Because there's something I always tell myself, that the Holy Spirit or the angel spoke to Mary about what Jesus was going to do. Bible says that, and she pondered over it.
Yeah.
Once you open your heart to be a parent, God will give you the manual to raise every child uniquely. And then you need to be intentional. The world is intentional about how they want your child to be. So you can't sit idly and make your children just grow. That's what I want to say.
Wow. I really love the last bit about prayer and the Holy Spirit. One of the favorite scriptures that I ponder about in the Bible is in Exodus also, when God told Moses that build according to the plan that I have shown you. It means that God has a plan for these children. And as she said, the Holy Ghost has the blueprint. When you pray to the Holy Spirit, He will help and guide you and give you the insight needed to raise the children and raise them well. And once again, I want to tell you that you have to be intentional. Your children will not just get up and go. Don't just feed them and take them to the best of school. Invest in them. And the best thing that you can give them is to give them Christ and make time for them. You are busy, yes, we understand. That money is needed to pay the fees, yes, but your children are there. Make time for them. If you miss out on this opportunity, one day you will live to regret it. Who knows? It may be too late. So make time for your children and invest in them. This is Radiant Parenting. We thank you for staying with us. Like our page, share this message, and join us again. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Very great. Thanks. And you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, I could see you were one of the participants of the parenting training that took place this afternoon. Please, what have you learned in the training and what can you share with us?
All right. I'm grateful for this training because today I learned about the skills in parenting. And then I got to know who a parent is and his role in child upbringing. I also learned that there are various stages in child outbringing. So per their ages, there are different styles a parent has to know and then train the children. I also learned that a parent's role basically is to train and shepherd a child from infancy to adulthood. Per the ages of the children, there are things that parents are supposed to do and there are things that they are not supposed to do. Above all, love is a key point. That's the basic thing in all skills that a parent should have. So today I learned a lot and I know what a parent is supposed to do at every stage in a children's life.
Okay, so with this, how do you expect this to be of benefits to the farmers?
We come across various cases on our field, and today I'm proud to say that I can attribute a lot of these cases to bad parental skills. So from henceforth, I'm going to train my farmers on good parenting skills, and I hope that these cases we are having will be remedied with this solution.
Okay, so is it a course or is it a project you think that should be implemented in all the Tutong cocoa sourcing communities?
Of course, specifically from this area, because of the illegal mining, parents have lost their children to this activity, and they cannot hold their children back because of the parenting styles they've been using over these years. So knowing this, I'm going to teach a parent his roles, especially what to do with their children when they are growing up. And I think with this, every child who will have this care and love from parents will listen to their parents and will not go into galamsey. And this will help with the kids in my district very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Letitia. And we wish you all the very best. And we hope that this is going to be implemented in all your cocoa sourcing communities and to be a blessing unto the farmers. We are grateful for your time. Thank you.
You are welcome.
In fact, parenting is a very interesting journey, and you will never be ready for it. So I did a lot of observation. One thing I noticed was on my third was I used to call her the missing daughter, because all of them will be speaking and she's very quiet. And I used to get very worried about it, but I realized that her love language was touch. So even if she came to you and you just rubbed her back, she would be fine.
So we have to be able to open up. Opportunity presents itself. If you are having your menses and you are in pain and you look morose and your child comes to you and asks you, "Oh, mommy, why are you looking like this? Are you okay? Is everything okay? Are you sick? Should I do something for you?" Normally that's what they do. That is an opportunity. You grab the opportunity. You let her know that I am having my period and I'm in some pains, but I am managing it. When you do that, she knows that you also have periods. Yes. So that will break every barrier about talking to you about her menstrual issues. When she is having her menses and there is an issue or there's something she wants to talk about, she will remember that, oh, when you had your issue, you told her, so she can also confide in you. But when you don't talk to her about menses, maybe you actually taught her how to use her pad, you told her that she'll be having her menses, but you never even told her that you too have been having menses and you too have been having pains and all those things. She will not be able to open up to you. So we have to be able to open up to our children, make them understand that whatever it is that they are about to go through, we have been going through it for a number of years. We've been going through it since our teenage years till now.